Hey guys! Today I wanted to do a pretty highly requested video, and it's a topic that's really important to me and I think is important to a lot of people. And that topic is having confidence in Lolita fashion. There's already a couple videos on YouTube about this by like Peachy and other people, but I think it's always good to have as many voices as you can, and like I said, you guys have requested this, so here I am. This all really depends on where you live in the world, kind of. Like, whenever I go out the door in the morning, I feel confident, and a lot of people make really nice remarks. I went to friggin' Home Hardware and Canadian Tire today just to buy, like, a Christmas tree. And there were people stopping me, telling me how lovely I looked. I look like a movie star and a princess. And, like, I get pretty much nothing but positive feedback from random people on the street. But if you don't live in an area like that, which I can imagine is a lot of the world and a lot of you, then it might be harder to be confident when you step out that door. And that's absolutely okay, but you need to remember that you have the right to feel safe when you get up in the morning. And that clothing is the last thing that should make you feel unsafe, right? Lolita fashion is all about making girls feel wonderful, making girls feel like princesses, and making girls feel beautiful. And if it's stressing you out or making you feel uncomfortable or just ruining your life, then maybe you need to rethink the way that you're going about Lolita, because I would hate to see Lolita be a burden for anyone because of the way other people react or just the way you feel internally. You need to sort that out. So this video is mostly for people who are sort of starting out in Lolita, or people who have been in it for a little while but may still struggle with confidence. I feel like we're gonna have a lot of heart-to-hearts in this video. My number one piece of advice for those starting in Lolita is to ease into it. You don't have to even go OTT at all in public. I don't go out like this. I really don't. I use my natural hair. I wear slightly shorter shoes sometimes. It helps if you've already worn some alternative fashions. It helps if you've been, I don't know, like pastel goth, or even shown an interest in that stuff, if you've shown any interest in Japanese culture, or anything sort of out of the norm for, parents who may not be super hip to that stuff. But if you're not, if you've never been, if this is the first thing you've seen that's a little bit wacky and you love it, then absolutely do not let my past statement make you shy away from Lolita. You're probably going to want to tell your parents first, or show your parents first, or your family, or your sister, or your godmother, your stepfather, or your best friend. Confide in people who are close to you first. And you know what? If you have a really, really conservative mother and you think, God, there is no way she's gonna frickin' slash my head off for wearing this, maybe she doesn't need to know. And it doesn't mean you need to hide it like some friggin' secret life of Lolita-chan, but maybe it doesn't need to be a big deal. Maybe you should just start wearing it bit by bit, and they can deal with it. They can deal with it. Okay, real talk. In pretty much, I always kind of dressed weird, but in grade late 7, early 8, I'm in grade 11 now. I'm a baby, by the way. I'm super young. Getting that out of the way, I'm 16. When I was just starting grade 8, I was very alternative, and not in this way at all, quite the opposite. I'll put a picture here, and this lasted for a long time, and it wasn't just a fashion, it was definitely a lifestyle. But my mom got used to it, and my mom was my best friend, definitely, through all of that. It was wonderful. She was very, very supportive. But she was also very relieved when I started being more girly and grew out my mohawk and, started wearing makeup and stuff like that. I still have stretched ears. They're just pink and sparkly. But then again, I guess I could take advice from when I started dressing like that, right? You just you just kind of have to throw it at them little by little. If you really want to do this, and if they really support you, and not just in fashion, but if they support you, period, then they need to learn to love you the way you are and with the stuff you love. I started telling my mom, well, I started joking about it. This isn't Lolita, but you can use the exact same method. I started joking about, like, oh man, what if I came home one day from school and I had blue hair? And she was like, you know, I'd say okay, but don't. And I kept doing that, and then I started asking. I was like, can I dye my hair blue? Can I wear a blue hair dye? Mom. Anyway, she weirdly agreed to let me dye it pink, which was much more obnoxious than blue, because I used freaking special effects cherry bomb. Anyway, more photos of 8th grade Jillian. You know, my mom's a photographer, and I started modeling for her a lot more once I started, you know, experimenting with fashion and stuff, and now she's totally fine with it, right? I can walk up the stairs in this, and she doesn't bat an eye at it. So I talked a little bit about confiding in those close to you, and that's more in a sort of like coming out way, but this is just for, you know, having a friend, having a long-term person to talk to about Lolita so you don't feel like a freak. For me, this is definitely my boyfriend, Tristan, obviously. Everyone knows Tristan here. He's really accepting and really into it, actually, and, you know, I can just, like, APOP, JSK, RHS, BTSSB on the comm sales, and he understands all of it, and he's like, man, go bid on that shit, like, it's awesome to have someone who understands and who's into it that you can talk to about Lolita, because if you have no one who even knows what it is, it can feel like you are a freak. You can feel so alone. And I hate to see anyone feeling like that, because it's shitty. It's shitty to find something so wonderful that makes you feel so beautiful and alive, and you feel like a total freaking weirdo because no one knows what the hell you're talking about. They don't understand that that pretty frilly dress you're wearing was like fought for on a bid with like blood on the internet and victory at the sales, and it was like $500, and now you have it, and they're just like, what play are you in? If there's no single person in your life already that you can really talk to about it, or that you can even introduce the topic to, you might want to think about looking into a local community. Now, if you don't have a local community, don't fret. I think in every single video lately I've been like, I live on PEI where nothing happens, but it's true. And in a neighboring province, Nova Scotia, there is a Lolita community, and it's actually the strongest in the Maritimes. And they have lovingly welcomed in the little PEI girl, and it makes me really happy, and we're all really good friends, and I go to meetups whenever I can, and they're just awesome. On that note of joining a community, if there is someone who is a little bit unpleasant, or maybe they're just like impressively beautiful and their coordinates are top-notch and they're head to toe in like freaking angelic pretty Jesus Diamante shit, and you feel intimidated, which will happen, right? It's gonna happen. There's gonna be people who are better than you, or who have more dresses or whatever than you. God, I guarantee you most of you have more dresses than me. But you can't let that get in the way of you doing what you love, right? There's always going to be competition, and there's always going to be jealous. I'm pretty sure I'm always going to be jealous of like Milky Fawn and all of her chocolate dresses, and I'm pretty sure I'm always going to be jealous of frickin' Peachy just for her absolute sweetness and how she got all of those subscribers and followers just by being her sweet self. And that's always going to happen, but I'm not going to stop doing what I'm doing. You know what? I'm going to get posted to Behind the Bows a million times after this, and I'm going to be jealous of a million people after this. And I'm going to work my minimum wage job at PriceSmart, and I'm going to blow my whole check on one dress, and it's going to be awesome because I'm doing what I love. So if you know, look around, look on Facebook. You can see, I think there's a list. I think there's like some like freaking giant Lolita community list somewhere. If someone knows what I'm talking about, please comment it, because I'll feel dumb if there is none. But I'm sure that you can find a community, if not in your state or province or territory or whatever, then somewhere near, and hopefully they'll be nice enough to kind of let you in, or at least let you go on the Facebook page. That said, communities can be scary. Now, I don't know any of this firsthand, because Lolitas of Nova Scotia rocks, but, you know, everyone's heard of the gossip and the secrets, and oh my god, she's such a fatty chan bitch. So, it might be a little bit intimidating to jump into that when you're new. And it's true that some Lolitas might not be the kindest to people who are starting out and may not, you know, do things the right way the first time. But honest to God, a lot of people would argue that the whole brand whore thing is a myth. Like, you hear it, and you think, oh my god, look out for brand whores, they're gonna vomit all over your body line. Who says that? Anyway, but does anyone really know anyone like that? I don't know anyone who's that much of an elitist. I don't think I'm that much of an elitist. Like, don't be super scared about joining a community for reasons that you don't know are true. If you just reach out to them and explain, like, hey, I'm new to Lolita, I'm really interested in learning more stuff, and, you know, you post some of your cohorts, you might get some feedback that are like, you know, you might want to change this, or you might want to wear a blouse, or whatever, but, you know, they should be pretty civil with you, and I think that's a really great way to, you know, introduce yourself to new things, get more feedback, really explore Lolita, because if I didn't have Lolitas of Nova Scotia, I would feel so alone. If I didn't have this YouTube channel with all of you, I would feel so alone. And it's just so lovely to have those branches. Branches. I'm gonna stop. This is really important. You need to love your first cohort. You need to feel wonderful. It doesn't have to be good, it doesn't have to follow the rules of Lolita, but you have to feel like, man, you did it. This looks like what I saw on Tumblr, this looks like what I saw on GMB, this feels awesome and I love it. Because if you feel uncomfortable, it's going to turn you away from the whole fashion. And I'm going to talk about Tristan a little bit, because he just did his first coordinate, his first OG coordinate. And it was mostly fan plus friend with, like, angelic pretty socks, and he wore my beret. Here's a picture. Aren't we cute? Ah. And when it got here, he tried most of it on, and he felt really uncomfortable. Because, like, you know, you're gonna feel a little bit uncomfortable if it's your first time, especially if you haven't done any other alternative fashions. It's just like, this is weird, it's real now, I'm kind of freaked out. That's normal. But if you're, like, downright feeling, like, super self-conscious and nasty, you might want to change something. For him, it was the way that the vest thing fit. And, like, the way the weird suspenders attached. And, you know, there were just little things he wasn't used to. So, I took it to the sewing machine and I fixed it in for him. And on the day of the convention, when he did wear it, he felt a lot better, and he looked slick as hell. He got so many compliments. Of course, we were walking around together, and, like, he got almost more compliments than I did, and that made me really, really happy, because it was his first cohort, and he deserved all of the kudos in the world. But yeah, just please make sure that the first time that you really do it, it does feel like it's a weird dream coming true. My first ever Lolita dress was from Anna House, and oh my god, I felt like a princess. I freaked out. I was sick that day from school. It came in the mail and I tried it all on with no blouse and no petticoat, and I felt awesome. And then I wore it, oh god, I wore it with, like, black and white creepers, and it was so Ida, but I felt so good. So whatever, right? No one's gonna be perfect when they start, but you have to feel perfect. For those of you who have commented and said that I've inspired you to be a Lolita, or I've encouraged you to be a Lolita, I just want you to know that you can always come to me. You can always come to me for advice, and I will always be here and I will always reply, because that is my dream. I never thought that would happen. When I ordered that Anna house dress for prom, I never ever thought that that would happen. And I'm so glad that it has. So, God, I've been so rambly this whole video. It was highly requested and I hope that it helped in some way. Basically, just try to ease into it. Try to introduce it to your family and friends slowly. Some people say to just walk out in full Lolita all at once. And I mean, that may work for you, but I would suggest sort of kind of like, maybe you wore a few bows one day. Maybe you started wearing skirts more, you know? Maybe that might help if it, you know, helps from going from like t-shirt and jeans to confide in someone, whether it be a super close friend or a community. Don't let community competition and jealousy or whatever get in your way. Read your notes that you wrote. If Lolita becomes something that stresses you out or just burdens you and is making you more unhappy than happy, you need to rethink the way you're going about it, because that breaks my heart. And basically just take care of yourself first. You know, you have to take care of yourself first. Thank you so much for watching. I'm almost at 3,000 subscribers, which is ridiculous. I love every single one of you, and I will see you next time. Bye. That's a good enough ending. That's the best we're getting.